Manx Radio Podcasts, powered by Shaw.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Countryside with Kiri Kermode and Simon Clark. The last one of the current series, Kiri, but we're back in February, but it's nice that we get a chance on this programme to get some festive parts in it, really.
That's it. It's a busy time at the minute, everyone getting ready for Christmas, and Central Mart's been preparing the ringside ready for the turkeys and the geese to come in, and it is a really special time, isn't it?
Yeah, and Peter Quayle tells you about how the Central Marts has been. There's been a mart recently as well, and well supported and good animals there, wasn't there?
Absolutely. The farmers are doing a great job providing great stock, and Peter thanks the local producers and customers as well here on the island for supporting the Manx farmers.
Yeah, and were you on the large horse out Ballahimman?
No, they were fine big horses and designed for the environment as well. They live outdoors all year round and, real herd animals. It was a great sight in the back of Cronkovody there. Yeah,
and Bryony there with Dew and Cannell, they've got that land and they're using it well, and it's a part that people in the Isle don't get to that often, isn't it?
That's right. Unless you knew where you were going, you'd get lost quite easily, but it's so peaceful, and to actually get up onto the top of the mountains there and look out, and like Bryony says, the view of England, Scotland, and the smell of the gorse and the look of the heather, she says it's just beautiful, so we'll have to put it on our bucket list.
Yes. Also, I catch up with Vivian Quain, one of the characters from the Sulby area. I had a good chat with her about her times a few years ago now, getting ready for Christmas with the people around the farms, doing poultry and as well as doing everything else. It was some hard work around this time of year.
That's right. Everyone rallied together, though. All the different farmers would come round and help dress the turkeys and the poultry, and then they might go round and help dig up the veg or prepare the veg for Christmas Day. It was a big team effort. It doesn't just quite have that feel anymore, does it, really, in the modern kind of farming life?
Yeah, and you've tried the dressing of the turkey once, didn't you? Put a hat and a tie on it. That's what I heard. Here it is then, this week's Countryside.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Well, if I said to quite a few people here on the Isle of Man, where's Ballahimman? I think lots of them wouldn't have much of an idea, to be honest. It's tucked away a little bit, Kiri, isn't it?
That's right, Simon. In the back of Beyond, but what a beautiful place it is, just off Cronkovody. I went along to speak to Bryony, who runs the pony trekking there, to hear about their festivities they're having at the moment.
It is a busy time. We've had a great number of volunteers giving us a hand to get the grotto ready, and in particular Sharon, who's done a wonderful job again this year, third year running. We did it actually about 10 years ago and then left it for a little while, and people kept saying, "Are you going to do it again?" And it's very popular with the children. Great family experience, really. Yeah.
To have the horses prepared and ready to do the trek, and you obviously do the summer trekking as well, Bryony, how difficult is it to get the right breeds and have the right temperament for the outings?
We do tend to go for obviously quiet, good temperament on the horses, ones that can cope well with the hills up here. We're obviously quite high up in the hills. We love the Haflinger horses that we get. They originate from Austria and cope very well with all sorts of weather. They're very tough, hardy breed. They're very sociable animals. They love living outdoors in a herd group. Obviously, naturally, a horse is a herd animal. So as long as they've got plenty of hay at them this time of the year, plenty of food in their bellies, they're quite happy.
And children, they love getting out and riding on a horse. Yeah, I can remember as a little girl, that's all I wanted to do at the weekends. How difficult is it? Do you have to be an experienced rider to take part?
Not at all. We take complete beginners. Our minimum age used to be 4, and we've now increased our insurance to cover the under 4s. Any really tiny tots, you need somebody to lead the pony and somebody to balance the child, just to walk alongside. Obviously, we provide everyone with a riding hat, and appropriate footwear if they don't have anything suitable. And they do get full instruction on the way around for all the trekking. Get people in the summer from all walks of life. It's a level playing field for people who've never sat on a horse before, and it's very satisfying to, get them around, that they've enjoyed it. They've really conquered potentially a fear. If they've not ridden a horse before, they wouldn't know what to expect, and being out on a horse, enjoying the beautiful scenery around here, and appreciating what we've got up here.
It is a very beautiful part of the Isle of Man, Cronkovody, but out here there's hardly a neighbouring building, there's hardly any houses. It must be absolutely spectacular, and to see what comments the visitors have left in the book, from all around the world. It must be quite breathtaking for them.
Yes, definitely. We are very proud of our visitors book. I know nowadays everything's gone to social media, but in the winter when it's freezing cold and blowing a gale up the side of a hill, I think I'm feeling a bit miserable. I'll go and get the visitors book out and remind myself why we're doing this, and the job satisfaction really of people, as you say, from all corners of the world, making lovely comments on there about how they've enjoyed, their visit to the island and what a memorable experience it was coming up to see us and having a trek, really. And, some comments it's made their holiday, and even people from the Isle of Man, actually. There's one in there I've just read yesterday that said, why go abroad when you've got all this here, which I thought was a lovely comment, that people perhaps, even that live on the island don't know where we are and haven't been up to see us,
How did the idea come about, Bryony, to develop into more seasonal activities such as the Christmas festivities and the Easter treks that you do as well?
I was just coming up with a few ideas really to, keep things going all year round. In fact, actually a couple of the girls from the tourist office have been up recently talking about how they're trying to extend the season and were quite interested in the things that we were offering at certain different times of the year. Obviously, any of the trekking is, weather dependent, so we're a bit reliant on that. Although we had a beautiful day on the festive rides at the weekend, and they were actually out in the snow, so photographs there were lovely. They look fantastic, like Christmas cards with the children on the ponies with all the tinsel and the antlers on, all dressed up like reindeers. So
it really does make it extra special at this time of year as well, and the chance to meet Father Christmas and the other animals that you have here as well.
Yes, that's right. A very good friend of ours, Sharon, has done a wonderful job of doing 2 festive areas. The children ride from the yard here up to the first area up the lane, and then they get off the ponies and go and visit our farmyard friends. Billy the donkey, we've got Mabel the goat, we've got a sheep, little ponies in there as well, so the children can all go and meet the animals and get the photographs taken. And then they ride back off down to go and look for Father Christmas in his grotto, and obviously get a little gift. And another one of our very good helpers, Cheryl, who's made some extra special non-alcoholic punch for the families, and orange juice for the kids, and mince pies. So it's quite the family little outing, really. Yeah.
It makes it very different from what goes on in town generally. And sometimes we've been on an island, they say, oh, there's not much to do. But it's creating opportunities like this, isn't it, that makes it so much more special this time of year.
Definitely. And I think now, maybe in the past, people would say there's not much to do on the Isle of Man, but I think now it certainly is an awful lot more the whole year round, really. Things are out there for people to do. Definitely a different experience, quite an adventure even getting to the farm where we are, down over the little bridge and, things like that. So it is quite an adventure. But I think the thing over the festive rides, and I said to people, is, wrap up warmly, get the kids, get the wellies on and the gloves on, and, we are in the hills, we're right up in the hills, so, dress appropriately, really. We had some farmers' families up actually the last couple of weekends, which was rather nice. Some local farmers and their families up enjoying it as well. So, from the countryside and from town as well.
It's providing that opportunity, isn't it? Well, you've been involved in horses all your life. You were a very successful rider as a junior. So was this something you always wanted to pursue, a career in horses?
I think it's something that's never really left me, to be honest. I possibly tried to move away from it once or twice, but it just follows me around. So there's just no getting away from it. And now I really wouldn't want to do anything else. When I was born, my mother had a riding school on the island, so I was basically born into it. I did do a lot of competing as a child. Now I probably prefer the more laid back. Love being up in the hills, away from it all, really. Love taking people out and seeing how much pleasure and, enjoyment they get from meeting the horses and having a ride, from children from as young as 2 and up to the oldest I've had so far was 84 out on a horse enjoying the riding. So
it is a full team effort. It's it's a great place to be, but it's not just done on your own.
Definitely not. I started the business with Mr. Cannell June about 18 years ago now. Was many occasions we've said, I don't know why we're doing this, why we're carrying on with this. But then, as I say, you look at the positive comments and you see people, leaving with a big smile on their face. They've really enjoyed their experience here. So that's why we carry on with it, really. And other than myself and Joan, we have a great team of volunteers, lovely girls. There's actually girls who work in an office in Douglas all week and live for the weekend, They just want to get away from town and come to the countryside and just, really fill their lungs with some fresh air and feel, the countryside, get involved with the animals. And even for one trek, it'll take a couple of hours to get set up for a trek, to catch the horses in from the fields, bring them in, get them brushed up and tacked up and fill all the hay nets. And, there's always jobs to do around the farm. Animals are very time consuming all year round, really.
Bryony, do you find social feeds like Facebook and Twitter a best way to get in touch or to find out or keep up to date with events? Because obviously you use it as a bit of a form of advertisement.
Yes, definitely. Whilst I love our visitors book, obviously people only get to see that when they actually arrive at the farm, the comments that people have already made, and it's lovely for me to look at. But yes, we have got dragged along, to keep up to speed with social media and things like that. So I do use Facebook now. We do get a good response from that. Obviously, the people can look at the photographs, in particular ones recently of the lovely photos of the children on the festive rides up in the snow. So I do find that helps. The girls from the tourist office have been up, obviously trying to extend the season and include things like we're doing, with the Santa rides. So that's a great help as well. We do get some support there from the tourist office, which obviously we're very grateful for.
That was Bryony Coulson from Ballahim and Trekking Stables.
It's great that they're still busy, and yet some, if we said it to some people, they would think, oh, I've not been there, which is nice in a way, isn't it? They must have their own little sort of people that tell each other and tell their friends, and they go there and head around that beautiful part of the island.
That's right. It's really, really handy now we have Facebook and social media so we can find out that these beautiful places exist. And what a great business Bryony's running there. Throughout the summer, she's inundated with visitors and just even local people getting up in the hills on them gorgeous horses that they keep. And at the moment, the weekends are busy with the children coming to see Father Christmas and taking a ride on the horses up to the hills. It's just brilliant idea.
Not quite ponies, are they?
No, they're fine big beasts.
Did you get a lap on one?
I didn't, but I did have the pleasure of going and seeing them and actually looking at the Santa's grotto, and a lot of work's gone into it. Credit to them.
Yeah, well done to that.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
The C word is here. Well, we can say Christmas now, of course. And what a nice sort of festive time, even though there's still business to be done at the Central Marts.
That's right. Peter's been really busy with the last of the cattle sales for the year. And I caught up with him to see how trade has been. And I also get a preview of the forthcoming Christmas Mart with Gordon Clegg.
Christmas Mart, it doesn't seem 12 months since the last one. Like, but the time comes round quick, doesn't it? You don't know where it disappears to. But yeah, there's quite a bit of work involved up here, but it's all worth it for the fun you get out of it. Saturday the 23rd, things will kick off here with a cattle service to start with, led by Crosby Silver Band. And then there'll be a selection of turkeys, chickens, geese and ducks, all come from local Manx producers, which will be auctioned off, all oven ready, of course.
It's a really great opportunity for local public to come and join in the festivities, but not only that, but to support the local farmer as well.
Yes, it is a good opportunity, and anybody and everybody is welcome. There's plenty of room, there's various things happening. We set a little grotto up in the corner here with Father Christmas going, so the kids will all have a sight round. There'll be sweets about, there'll be teas and coffees, mince pies. And on top of the poultry, of course, there'll be a few tables out the back with local Manx produce, like with your vegetables and things going around about.
There's always that tradition of the sale of the charity bird. Yeah, that's always a special moment.
It is a special moment because everybody, no matter who you are or where you are, is affected somewhere along the lines by an illness of some nature. And it's real good to see these charity birds getting put up. Not only are they sold once and the money put to charity, but often enough they're put back in, they're sold time and time again. And over the last number of years, there's probably £400 or £500 each year going from the same bird going into these charities. I think one of the charities this year is Isle of Man Breast Cancer again, but there will be another one that's not decided on yet, but will be picked and announced on the day.
A lot of work goes into it, but not only is the poultry, there'll also probably be lamb and beef available too.
There'll definitely be lamb about. I think there is a little bit of beef coming about. Yeah, there is. There's a bit of everything for everybody.
A whole Christmas dinner then.
Full Christmas dinner. Yeah, all local.
Not only is it a busy time at the mart, but it's also a busy time at home for the farmers as well, Gordon, at this time of year. Christmas on a farm can't always be easy.
But to be quite honest, Christmas on a farm is no different than any other time of year. I mean, yeah, the livestock is always there. The animals still need feeding. They still need cleaning out. The work has got to be done. You just fit in Christmas around it. You've just got to keep going. And it's all fun. I mean, especially involving poultry. The week before is nothing but feathers anyway. Nothing does change. Even Christmas morning, there'll be livestock wanting tending to, wanting feeding.
You might get a 5 minutes in the afternoon for a good sleep.
There's not much chance of that. It'll come time enough at night though, won't it? Yeah.
But it is a special time of year. It's when the farmers produce some of the best produce. We've just recently had the Prime Stock Show. It is a good time for eating and doing well.
Yes, it is, most definitely. And you mentioned the Prime Stock, so what a lovely show of stock there was here this year, like on the build-up. It just shows you what the Isle of Man can produce, and it's all there, and it's just waiting for the people to go out and buy it and make use of it, and let's all benefit from it.
Peter, this was the last sale of the year today with some lovely cattle to end with.
Yes, I had some nice cows, Angus pure cows in calf. They sold quite well. There might be some premiums on the Angus type stock in the future. But, everybody needs replacement cows, and they were just some real good stock.
Did you see the sale today any better since we had the very important meeting on Monday to talk about the Isle of Man fat stock?
I think the cattle sold quite well today. There were some good types, David Kenyock, some good Limousin types, and we didn't have a lot, but what there was were some nice quality. Good quality always sells, but I think towards the end of the year, the sales of price per kilo has been a little bit better than expected, and I think today was similar.
Obviously, it's important to have the Isle of Man fat stock up and running. Is there a bit more confidence around with the farmers generally?
Well, it's early days yet. I had an interesting meeting the other night, and the points were put over, as has been said. The department members are doing what they think are the best option forward, way forward. We wait and see. It just takes a long time to turn the beef industry around. By the time you pull a heifer and she has a calf, and then 9 months, 2 years later before you have the offspring to sell at the meat plants, it's a long turnaround. But if the right payments are there and the right structure, then farmers will do it. And we have been waiting for somehow to get the same returns as our English and other European counterparts.
It is all about confidence in the agricultural community. It has been lacking lately, but it hasn't put a dampener on the suckler sales this back end.
No, it would have been lovely if they would have just brought this out a few months ago, and the breeders would have got a little bit of the payments as well. But they've eventually come forward with a better scheme or a proposal, and they seem genuine that they will make it work, and I have confidence in Mr. Boot and Tim Baker.
Now that the cattle sales have finished, Peter, you'll be looking forward to selling at the poultry sale.
Well, the poultry sale's a bit of fun. We always have a good crowd and just hope the weather's nice. But I think on the island we're very lucky that a lot of the Manx people are very good to support, and they've tried to buy as much Manx as they can, and unfortunately at times they just haven't been able to because it's not available in all the shops that they would like. So with a bit of luck, the new scheme will have a lot of Manx meat being available, and the Manx people have been just super to support us. At
the end of the day, it's the customer that's king, and the Manx farmer is doing the absolute best he can to produce the best product.
Yes, yeah, I mean, the breeding improves all the time. We'll bring in new bulls, new rams, and you always try to improve the stock, and we'd like to think that the stock that goes forward is of a high quality, and the fact it's travelled so little, and it's nice to be thinking that we're all supporting the Manx industries.
That was Peter Quayle, Central Mart's auctioneer, and Gordon Clegg talking about the Christmas Mart.
Was there anyone dressed up with the Christmas gear on?
Not quite, but the trade was good, and lots of farmers are busy buying still.
Yeah, even at this time of year, which I don't know, you couldn't really say the different types of year you get bargains, really, can you? Because it's just fluctuates so much.
That's right, it is market driven, and however the UK is going seems to flow right back here to the Isle of Man. But it was nice to see the trade was good and a little bit of confidence about, so all being well, it'll be a good new year.
Yeah, and it's nice that they sort of call it the Christmas Mart and things as well. It keeps that, festive spirit with it, doesn't it?
Oh, the Christmas Mart's so well attended now, and all walks of life turn up to get their full Christmas dinner. But it's just the atmosphere, that whole Christmas atmosphere, and all the decorations in the Mart. You'd hardly know a beast had been through there a few days before. They do a great job.
Yeah, well done, and all the best for 2018 for all involved in the Marts. Well, speaking about Christmas, I went along to have a chat with Vivian Quain, one of the well-known characters of the north of the Isle of Man, and she told me some of the memories and hard work that was involved in the farms around this time of year.
I was born in Lozère a long time ago. I was born at Glentrammon. My father and mother had a poultry farm there. Selling poultry, they used to pluck and dress it, and selling eggs. That was their life. And then, of course, the idea of poultry and eggs running free all went out of fashion. And that's when the battery hens came into it. And people didn't want to pay the price for free-range eggs. And now, of course, it's all gone back the other way, that they want free-range eggs. And, of course, we had geese, and at Christmas we had some turkeys. Mother and father, with the help of my brother-in-laws and my sisters, at Christmas time did all the plucking and dressing for lots of farmers around the north of the island, turkeys, geese, whatever. They had 2 electric pluckers, which made life a lot easier than plucking them all by hand. The feathers were kept all separate, the white duck, the white goose, the coloured ones, the hens and the turkey, because the white duck and goose were very valuable in those days for quilts. It was before duvets came in. In January, of course, they'd be all taken away to England and dealt with there.
Well, that was a big part of the sort of income for that time of year, was that?
It was. That's why we all got married either before Christmas or in January.
The only time people could afford it.
My father always told us that anyhow, yes. It was hard work. I didn't have much to do with it because I was too young, thank you. But my mother really worked hard doing the plucking and dressing. There was no heat. It was a galvanised building, no fridges, no freezers. They had a big wire safe that all the poultry was put in when it was prepared. People used to bring it in, say, this morning, and they'd probably collect it tomorrow night, because father liked to hang the birds before they were plucked, because that drained the blood out of them. And my grandfather, who was an old man when I remember him, used to sit with the pipe in his mouth in his chair, winging the feathers, pulling the wing feathers out, because that made it easier to pluck them. And of course you didn't have them there to pull out at a later date.
Quite a lot too, doing the poll, from getting them organised, picking them, and then getting the feathers and dressing them ready, wasn't it?
Yeah, and of course I have to say my father was very particular about dressing birds. They had to look good, ready to be cooked to go on the table. There was no pin feathers left in them or any scars on them. And
don't be bruising them. That was another one.
That was another one, yes. But the electric pluckers, of course, didn't bruise them. They might tear them a little bit if you were not gentle enough with them. But when you pluck them by hands, that's when you bruise them a bit because you drip them a bit too hard. It was hard work. As I say, my mother and my sisters did the pin feathers and they did the singeing with the methylated spirits.
Oh, that brings back horrible memories of that smell.
It was one way you got your hands warm. And then they used to dress them. I can remember, going back donkey's years, they used to make skewers for them out of the tramon branches, the wood. You could whittle them down and make beautiful skewers, and they went through the bottoms of the legs when they were sat nicely dressed, and it held them all in place. They made a lovely job of them.
But when you seen that many and got that many ready, was anyone looking forward to sitting down and seeing them on the table then to eat?
We had roast beef.
Yeah, all right. What about Lazaire at Christmas time of the year? Was it celebrated well?
Oh, yes. Because, of course, we had a social club which met in the church hall. We played badminton and darts and talks, and we did plays.
No pub at you?
No. A cup of tea was sixpence. Old money. And then at Christmas, of course, church was the centre of life, really. And the parish, they came from Glen Alden and down the Gary and all. We all met up there. And New Year was the time we had the parties for the social club. On New Year's Day, we went to the Gaiety Theatre, 2 coaches.
On New Year's Day?
On New Year's Day to the pantomime. There was always a pantomime. And then somebody would have tea ready when we got back to the hall. We'd have tea, and then we had a social night. Everybody was there. There'd be a lot of us. There'd be 50, 60 of you there. There was a gang that used to come from Regaby.
Now, what sort of age were then? Was there a mixture?
Oh, mixture. From the old to the... I was probably one of the young ones. The old ones were the parents, sort of their late 60s, 70s. Everybody joined in. There was nobody left out. We had tea, stacks of food, and we'd have supper. And I suppose we'd all finish about 10:30 at night, and we'd all go home. Oh, it was a wonderful occasion. And we had the Sunday school parties and the Mothers' Union party, and everybody went. Nobody was left out.
Was there lots of trees put up around the village and the...
Well, I suppose there was. Well, you got to remember, in the early days, I'm remembering, money was still tight.
Wouldn't be many electric lights and things then.
Oh, yeah, we still... I think one of the last places to get electric that I can remember was Ellenben Farm. Because I know when my sister got married, there was no electric in Ellenben then, and they got it in shortly afterwards. That would be in the 50s. I think most of us had electric of some description, but the great thing in the 50s and all was there wasn't a lot of money around. Because, as I say, rationing only finished in the early 50s. You won't remember that, Simon.
No.
I do.
Did that make Christmas tough as well?
Yes. We didn't get a lot, but we always got something. We always got oranges and tangerines, the proper big ones you don't see today. You always got some chocolate, but you see, sweets were rationed and all. But we were never short of anything. It was good home plain cooking. We had a butcher that came round, Tyson Burrows from Kirkmichael, van full of meat, and you picked what you wanted. You had the fish fella Ledley's from Peel, and we had the grocers coming round. We had George Less from Water Street in Ramsey.
Oh, was that Nelson's?
Yes, yes.
I remember them coming to our
Well,
farm with the old van.
You're not as young as I thought you were. To see the big block of butter that they used to cut the big chunk off for you, you know. But no, as I say, times were hard, but nobody went short. Everybody looked after everybody else.
Well, I suppose you mentioned the church before. Was there lots of people? Obviously, they had the carol services, but did lots of people go around carol singing?
Oh, yes, there was always carol singing.
What round down the houses?
Oh, yes. No, there was all sorts, and it was all good fun, and everybody was good company, and a lot of marriages came out of the church and the social club. An awful lot.
What about now? Do you still look forward to Christmas, the end of 2017, as much as you did when you were younger?
Oh, yes, because, of course, it's different now. You've got the families. Of course, we've got a little one of 14 months now, and she thinks trees are wonderful. She's probably too young to appreciate it this year, but I think next year she'll probably appreciate it more. But no, it's nice to see them all, and they come home from university, and it'll be nice to see them all.
Vivian Quain from Sulby with her memories off the farm and the work that was involved in getting poultry and everything ready for this time of year, and obviously cooking and getting things ready for your own families as well. Tough times.
Yeah, it was always such a busy time getting the full family around for Christmas Day, and back then I suppose it'd be lots of family to come round and enjoy it together.
Yeah, they seem to swap and go from one place for dinner, one for tea and things now, don't they? So I suppose then there was whatever, probably bales and milk and stools they were sitting on, wasn't it? And all the oil drums. Because there wouldn't be that many chairs, I suppose, in the house, would there?
No, but it was still such a special day, and the farmers, they did work hard, but to take a little bit of time off, enjoy each other's company and play a few games, and it would have been brilliant.
Is it a big Christmas, big celebration in your farm?
We do enjoy Christmas Day, especially Christmas dinner. Mum makes a big effort with a goose and veggies from local farmers round about, and it is special. We all get together and get all the feeding up done first before opening any prezzies, and then have a Christmas dinner and lie to, really.
What's the most bizarre present you've ever had? You allowed to tell me that?
I can't think, really. What about you?
I got a chair once.
Never.
Bit bizarre, but there you go.
There we have it.
It's not in use anymore, I'm afraid. But there we go.
Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Well, some memories from festive times and hard work on the farms, getting the poultry ready, as well as cooking for families, and, probably massive tablefuls as well.
I imagine then, Simon, they would have had quite big families, and obviously the workmen as well. They may have come round for the Christmas dinner as well.
Yeah.
It's such a really special time for the farm people.
Yeah, I was the youngest out of 7, so there was a fair old crew at ours. Plus the odd geese and dogs and cats that would scratch in for them, wondering what was going on. But yeah, it's good. Some good memories there from Vivian, and telling us about the hard work as well that it was. It's
a lot more mechanised now, isn't it, with all the machinery that comes with even the poultry production. You just don't know you're born now, really, compared to back then when it was manual labour.
Yeah, and great that the horses are out that part of the Isle of Man around Little London there at Ballahimman with Bryony Coulson and June Cannell there. It's a wonderful part of the world of the Isle of Man.
It really is, and they're doing a great job opening up in the it's a wet old time of year, and it's hard to keep animals right at this time, but they're still soldiering on and just giving something for the Manx people to go and do in the countryside at this moment in time. It's lovely.
Yeah, and it's nice just before Christmas and the last in this current series of Countryside to get some positive feedback from Peter Quayle and his team at the Central Marts.
It's been an up and down year, but trade has been good generally just recently. So all being well in the new year with the problems levelling out at the meat plant, let's hope for a good one.
Yeah, and if you remember on last week's programme, Kiri having a good chat with Bob Cooley about his memories on the farm times. That was a good long interview. Obviously, we couldn't fit it all in on the last programme, but it is still available on the Manx Radio podcasts on the Countryside part of the Manx Radio website. But all that's left is to wish you all the best for Christmas and New Year, and all the best for 2018. We'll be back in February with the new series of Countryside. So from Kiri Kermode and myself, Simon Clark, Merry Christmas. We'll see you in February. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't sit in the slow lane. Join the fast lane right now with Shaw's all-new Superfast Plus broadband. Enjoy more bandwidth, amazing speeds and the best value on the island from just £23.95 per month. So don't be left behind. Get a piece of the high-speed action with Superfast Plus broadband from Shaw. For details, visit our stores in Douglas, Ramsey and Port Erin or click shaw.com. Love being Shaw. Terms and conditions apply.